Says here you were a lawyer until not that long ago. What changed?
I'm sorry about your brother.
Jimmy, you can take some time off. Nobody's gonna ding you for not having a steady job right this minute.
Let's get it over with, rip the Band-Aid off, right?
Hey guys, Kiwi here. In this video, I'll be breaking down and analyzing the Better Call Saul Season 4 official Comic-Con trailer. This trailer is about 1.5 minutes long, and there's a bunch to go over, so let's jump right into it. The trailer once again starts with Jimmy having that interview at the photocopy place, but here we actually see him rolling up to the place in his car, along with getting an angle of the person interviewing him. Jimmy seems to be nervous about explaining why he isn't a lawyer anymore, but hopefully he has something figured out to say. Is his response possibly making that joke that he says at the end of the trailer about God making snakes before lawyers? Halfway through the trailer, we also see Jimmy being very expressional with his hands, as he's most likely giving some sort of pitch to them in order to get them to warm up to him, but we'll just have to see how well that works. As the trailer cuts to Chuck's funeral, we get a few new angles of the place as people fill in the room. First off, is that woman standing in the middle that doctor that cared for Chuck at the hospital? And then on the right, we see someone is speaking to Kim, followed by Howard behind her. Now behind Kim, 2 rows back, I believe that might actually be Rebecca as well. And as we cut to the shot focusing on Jimmy, is that Rebecca crying in the back left corner of the screen? Also, is that man behind Jimmy's shoulder Clifford Main from Season 2? What other familiar faces will we see from past seasons? As we get a shot of Howard at the wedding, he doesn't seem angry, he just seems concerned or conflicted. I'm not sure if something is off-putting him here specifically, or if he just doesn't know what to say to Jimmy or Kim, or just in general. I'm really interested in hearing more of Howard's perspective this season, because I'm really warming up to his character, and I'm excited to see what's in store for him. Apparently there's a scene at some point that broke Michael Mando's heart, the actor who plays Nacho, so I'm really interested in seeing what Howard is up to in Season 4. Now regardless of Chuck's death, it seems like Jimmy doesn't want to be slowed down. Kim tells him that no one will give him a hard time for taking a breather and relaxing for a moment, but Jimmy would rather rip the Band-Aid off, so to speak, and get shit over with. We know Jimmy feels bad for being a deadbeat, but he's always trying to show Kim that he can get a steady income even when he doesn't need to. Maybe he should take her advice here, because who is Jimmy really trying to impress anymore? With Chuck gone, the only person that he really cares for right now is Kim, and all she wants is what's best for them. She doesn't want him to overwork himself or get stressed out or depressed over finding a new job, especially after losing Chuck. She wants him to be able to process it, right? Jimmy may also be using the task of getting a job as a distraction from his brother's death, so we'll have to wait and see if he actually processes Chuck's passing properly like everyone else. Apparently Chuck's death is something that will ripple throughout the entire season as it continues, so I'm really curious how everyone will handle it.
What's your new job?
I make my own house.
At the moment, you have Gus Fring's respect. I'd want to keep that if I were you.
Think you're really gonna like this?
Just not for me, and I don't think it should be for you either.
Moving on, Mike's daughter-in-law asks him about his new job, and he says that he sets his own hours. I assume that Mike will just tell her the bare minimum along with giving her comfort so she won't be concerned about his new position, but will she become suspicious of Mike's new job? I don't think that she'll really cause any issues or rat him out per se, but she just seems to be concerned as always. In a previous trailer, Mike tells her that you wanted me to talk and I talked. So does he finally end up telling her that he's hired through Lydia's company, or what's the deal here, right? Also, we see Mike at the toll booth, so is this just Mike starting or ending a shift as someone takes over for him? Or is this actually Mike possibly finally quitting his job there? Is Mike quitting his toll booth job to work with Gus full time? And I mean, I'm just bringing this up because if he's fully quitting his toll booth job for this new job, that would make sense why his daughter-in-law would be asking questions about it. And we also see Mike getting some mail from a company called Madrigal Electromotive. Is that Lydia's company? I'll have to go back and look at the scenes from season 3 of Mike talking to her to make sure, but we all know that Mike doesn't like having a paper trail left behind him, and well, this has his full name on it, Michael Ehrman Trout, so that's exactly what he doesn't want. He's just gonna have to come to terms with, I guess, getting used to this, and I guess that's why he's going to talk to Lydia to make sure that he has nothing to worry about, because we do see more of Mike talking to Lydia in the trailer, so we may get more answers to this through conversations that they end up having. I discussed them in my last video, but here we just appear to get a slightly different angle of Mike meeting with her, no new dialogue. Something that is new though, it looks like someone is watching that person standing in the parking lot. From one of the first trailers, we concluded that the person in the parking lot might be Nacho with the pills in his hand. Is he going to confront Gus at Los Pollos, or what's the deal here? Also, who is watching over him? This person kind of looks like the same person who Gus speaks to in the vehicle when he's saying that he decides how Hector dies, but I'm not sure if it's the same person or not. Could this be Lalo, or is it just some random grunt? Moving on, we see more of Jimmy staying up late at night trying to find a job. At least that's what it seems at first, but then he appears to be calling Mike to tell him that there's a job that he thinks he'll really like. And then the trailer immediately cuts to Mike and Jimmy in that classic coffee shop that they always go to, and to Jimmy's surprise, Mike tells Jimmy that it's just not for him. I wonder if Mike is turning this down because now that he has a steady job with Gus, he doesn't need to bother with petty jobs such as the one that Jimmy is planning. Whether Mike thinks that the job isn't worth the trouble, or maybe he can tell that Jimmy's just trying to distract himself with petty crimes and jobs and he doesn't want to be a part of that. Not only that, but it seems like he's giving Jimmy advice here, saying that it's not for him either. So is that obvious that Jimmy is trying to cloud his mind with work in order to not think about Chuck? If so, that's not healthy, and even Mike can see that. So anyways, it appears that Mike just wanted to turn down Jimmy's job offer in person, but is that really the only reason why they met? Earlier in the trailer, Mike also gives Jimmy his condolences for Chuck, but did Mike really just meet with Jimmy to catch up? Is there nothing for Mike to offer Jimmy involving Gus or Nacho? Speaking of Gus, the trailer next focuses on what I believe is Gus confronting Mike about Hector's incident.
Do you have something to tell me? If you do, you would be well advised to do so.
Let's do something beautiful here. We make a bundle. It's free money. Every hour, every day.
Ka-chunk, ka-chunk, ka-chunk.
We're gonna hit some rough road.
The trailer cuts to multiple shots of Hector in the ambulance after his stroke, and then it cuts to Gus talking to Mike in front of a Los Pollos truck. Is this the same scene from the previous trailers where Mike actually gets cut off driving from a Los Pollos truck? Because Gus is telling Mike that if he knows anything, he better tell him, and this relates to the previous trailer where Gus also says that if our endeavors are going to continue, there's something we first need to discuss. So this is obviously that.
If our arrangement is to continue, there's a matter we need to discuss.
Do you have something to tell me? If you do, you would be well advised to do so.
So, is Gus accusing Mike of actually being involved with Hector's incident? I mean, it would make sense because that's what introduced Gus to him in the first place. Mike originally wanted to kill Hector because Hector threatened his family, but Gus convinced Mike to not go through with it and instead work for him on top of it. Gus is probably just trying to make sure that Mike didn't send Nacho to kill Hector for him or something, but what will Mike say? Although Mike didn't tell Nacho to do what he did, he was aware of it, and he even gave Nacho the tip to switch the pills back after the deed was done, which is something that Gus sadly noticed at the end of season 3, because I feel like Mike was telling him that so that Gus wouldn't notice. So Gus is on to Nacho, and we actually see in multiple scenes that season 4 might start out where season 3 ended, with Gus and Nacho standing there after the ambulance drives away. So will Gus confront Nacho first and then also confront Mike? Will Nacho say anything about Mike? Will Mike say anything about Nacho? What the heck? Like, will Mike acknowledge that he even knows Nacho or that he's dealt with him previously? Maybe Gus will just bring up Hector's incident, inform Mike that it happened, and Mike will deny any knowledge of it. Regardless, I hope that this all ends with Gus, Mike, and Nacho working on the same side, but that may be a difficult task to accomplish. Will Nacho become their inside man with the Salamancas? I could see Gus offering Nacho a job position just like how he did with Mike, but we'll have to see what path Nacho goes down this season. He might be too concerned with his father. So at Comic-Con, along with various interviews for season 4, the cast admitted that Gus and Mike's professional relationship will become solidified within this season with what they do. Gus has high respect of Mike due to Mike's sense of loyalty, so will Mike come out and tell Gus the truth? There's a difference between loyalty and blindly following orders though, so we'll have to wait and see what happens, because Mike is a smart guy, but Gus can read people very well and he can be quite intimidating.
You know why God made snakes before he made lawyers? He needed the practice. That's pretty much the only lawyer joke I know, because all the others are true stories.
So as the trailer amps up, we get more clips of Jimmy working hard to find a job, along with him trying to convince Mike that what he has is a good plan. Considering we see someone breaking into that photocopy place, does Mike end up giving into Jimmy's job offer and actually cave? We also get a few clips of Jimmy and Kim just acting caring towards each other at Kim's apartment, as Kim is still recovering herself. Maybe since Kim isn't working right now, Jimmy feels obligated to bring home a paycheck for them, but that's just my guess. Now what I'm really interested in is the fact that we see someone doing a burnout and driving that car in the desert that Gus's henchmen eventually blow up. What's the deal here? Well, first off, Gus's henchmen, Victor and Tyrus, meet with Hector's henchmen, Nacho and Arturo, once again for a drug deal because Gus has been smuggling Hector's drugs across the border for him, and it seems like this meeting doesn't go over too smoothly either. We see what looks like someone holding a gun by their waist as a threat, and in the previous trailer we heard Nacho saying, "Are we really going to do this?" Whatever the altercation may be, I feel like it has something to do with what motivates Gus's henchmen to actually take out the vehicle that they shoot the windows out of and then set on fire in the desert to show that they shouldn't be pushed around. And it looks like the Salamanca twins are sent out into the desert to maybe find the vehicle and figure out what happened. And to top it all off, now we see a clip of someone doing a burnout with the car. Is this Victor or Tyrus having fun with the vehicle before they destroy it? What's the deal here? Maybe this vehicle was owned by the Salamancas and Victor and Tyrus stole it and destroyed it out in the desert to mess with them, because we later see the car hitting a spike strip and we've seen this in previous trailers. So are they trying to frame it to make it look like the vehicle was ambushed in the desert when really they just stole it and were having fun with it? Because why would that actual owner of the vehicle just do a random burnout like that? There's a few possibilities here, but I'd like to know what you guys think in the comments below. Now, one of the last but most important points that I wanted to discuss is a short clip we have of Nacho with his father, and it looks like they're accepting money. Nacho's father doesn't look happy, but it seems like he's still going through with working alongside the cartel to smuggle drugs across the border. Hector told Nacho that he didn't trust his dad at the end of season 3, but did having a heart attack put him in a bit more of a desperate situation, causing him to change his mind and go with it anyways? Or is maybe someone else at the cartel taking over his business while he recovers, like Don Eladio, or maybe even this new character Lalo? There's a ton of speculation going around recently involving Nacho possibly dying this season, especially because he's not in Breaking Bad, and his actor seems to know exactly how to pull the strings to make our hearts ache in interviews. During a TVLine interview, I believe, he was saying how Nacho is not a gangster who wants to become the greatest, but rather he's a gangster who doesn't want to be a gangster anymore. Not only that, but he wants to protect his father, and he's willing to do whatever he has to in order to accomplish that.
Nacho's arc really became clear to me this season, that ultimately this is a story of redemption. This is not a story of a gangster who wants to be the biggest gangster in the world. This is a story of a gangster who doesn't want to be a gangster anymore. And what he really wants to do is save his father. The humanity that's so shocking is he's willing to die to save his father, which to me was the tragedy and the iconoclastic elements that all these characters have.
The actor also said that his character is very tragic this season, and that the tragic thing about him is how he wants to protect his father at all costs, even if it means dying for him. When I heard the actor saying that, I was of course thinking, no, don't say that, but we'll just have to wait and see what kind of situations Nacho is put into in order to possibly save his father. Now that's great and all, Nacho, you're a good person, you care about your family, but don't forget to save your own ass as well. I don't want you to end up dead, okay? I want you to come out of this alive. Worst case scenario, hopefully he finds the vacuum cleaner man from Breaking Bad and gets both his father and himself new identities, but we'll just have to wait and see. Also, we get a shot of Jimmy and Howard in a bathroom together. It looks like Jimmy is initiating a conversation. Is Jimmy at the courthouse doing something, possibly involving Chuck's death or something with Howard, or is this them at Chuck's funeral still in the bathroom? Now, I say the courthouse or whatever because we see Jimmy getting checked by a metal detector, so what's he up to here? And then another quick clip shows us Jimmy actually getting punched in the gut at nighttime, so what trouble has he gotten himself into? This appears to be the same night as all these clips that we've seen of Jimmy walking around in a tracksuit, along with talking to people who appear to be in a motorcycle gang and telling someone in a vehicle to step into his office. So is Jimmy getting punched in the stomach all a part of his weird plan, or are things going a little south here? If there's anything I missed in this trailer, feel free to let me know and I'll update things in the next video. But that's pretty much it for now, guys. How did you enjoy the Comic-Con trailer? Were you hoping to see more new footage, or are you content with what we got? In my opinion, we've been getting quite a lot of promos lately, so I'm pretty happy with where we're at considering the show comes out very soon. They also haven't revealed too much in the trailers, which is something that AMC shows have issues with in the past, so I feel like they've established an easy medium, and I've enjoyed what they've said in the interviews and at the Comic-Con panel. I feel like we know generally the direction that they're going this season, but I'm still really excited for everything to go down. I don't feel like I've been spoiled anything, so let me know what you guys think. I'd appreciate a like on the video if you've enjoyed anything I've said today, as it really helps me out. Feel free to subscribe for more Better Call Saul and Breaking Bad content in the near future, and if you'd like to take that extra step in helping support my videos, consider checking out my Patreon as well. There's a bunch of different rewards involving the channel, such as a chance to directly influence the videos being produced, link in the description. Also, feel free to follow me on Twitter, link also in the description. I'm fairly active on there as well, even when I'm not posting videos, and I'm always retweeting anything and everything I can involving both the Better Call Saul and Walking Dead universe. Anyways, guys, as always, I thank you all so much for watching, and until next time, I'll talk to you guys later. Peace out!